Because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-873-7618. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. We had a buy signal in the crude oil, soybean oil yesterday, folks. It's now got a nice profit in it. Your stop's now going to be at break even, so you're not going to risk anything on this trade. It's up about $360 right now. We also shorted the euro the other day on that big ABCD pattern. It has a nice profit of well over $900. Our stop is right above the 618, which would lock in about $400 profit. So that's what we're watching on those two particular patterns. Now, also, if you remember, we were talking about the crude oil yesterday because it looked like it was trying to make a bottom. And as you can see here, we did have these higher bottoms come in. It didn't quite reach our buy price right here. We were trying to buy that retracement right here. It missed it. Now we're up into this area right here where we're completing a pretty nice ABCD pattern from this one right here. So if you're interested in selling crude oil, now's the time to do it because you're banging on heaven's door right up here at 63.80, and the high has been 64.01. So this shouldn't get much higher than where it is right now with crude oil for today only, of course. All right, now the $64 question is, have I ever seen this before, folks? What's going on here? I've seen it many times, but boy, have I ever lived my life vicariously these last 12 hours. And I'll tell you why. I saw this market moving like it was, and I happened to be visiting with an old friend from Drexel Burnham, and he reminded me of what happened during the big gold run of from 1972 to 1980. In 1980, I started there in 76, and I'd been buying gold and silver for 5 years, and I had a plan to get out of it at around $600 an ounce. We had been buying it from 120 to 220, 320, 420. I didn't buy much above $400 because we were letting it run at that time, and gold made a top. It made its first top on January the 8th. That was Elvis's birthday. The reason why I sold all the gold that day was because at that point, if we sold in January, we didn't have to pay any taxes on that for 18 months because we could roll it over for 2 years by rolling the profits over, which we were planning on doing, which he did do. And then, of course, the market backed off on January the 8th. It backed off for about 3 days. I think it was the 8th, 9th, maybe on the 10th. And then on the 10th, oh, my God, it caught fire like you couldn't believe. It went through the $600 level early in January, around the 11th or 12th, 13th, and went all the way up to $865 on January the 20th. That was 2 weeks later. Now, that's $200 higher than what I had got out at, and I was not feeling very good, okay? And I was getting heat because people say, oh my God, how did we leave so much money on the table? Leave money on the table, one of the biggest fears. And I said, yes, I said, but I'm just an ABCD person, folks, and that's what I'm doing when I'm looking at these things. So as each day went by, I kept getting more and more heat. I lost two really good friends that really never forgave me for missing that last $200. But folks, let me tell you what happened on January the 20th. On January the 20th, gold had made a high of $865. The trading limits on gold that day were $50 per ounce, and it was limit bid on all the options all the way out through December of 1980, which was, not 11 months out. So it was selling at over $1,000 an ounce with spot at $865, which was $15 higher than limit, because spot didn't have a limit on it because that's the way they traded it. So it was trading at $865. Up $65 on the day, and there looked to be no selling in sight. And then I'm doing a lot of hedging for the folks at Handy and Hardham, most of the coin dealers did business with me because Drexel was a premier place to do silver and gold. And so I was in contact with the melters and smelters to get all this stuff. And when I realized we were trading at $54 in silver limit up, and yet silver on the spot market was trading under $40 an ounce. And I said, how can that be? And the guy said, there is no market above $40 an ounce. Nobody's buying. And I said, well, that must mean something. So I don't know. Anyway, what happened was, long story short, I sold some December contracts that day, 2 of them, at $1,000. I'm going out to December because interest rates were like 13%. And that day, about, half an hour later, gold went from limit up to limit down. It dropped $100 in one day. January 20th, 1980 was the high. Folks, it went down for 21 years. All the way down to when Tom O'Brien thought it would bottom, which was in 2001 at $232 an ounce, I believe, was the final bottom. And now we've gotten up to 3,715 so far. I mentioned in the speech that I gave this morning, my little video that I sent out, I didn't think the high in gold was in yet because the sell-off that we had yesterday was only $55. That's not enough. You got to drop at least $150 to get the attention of anybody that's long gold or silver. Now I'm looking at silver chart right here on the daily. As you can see here, we've completed some really big patterns, and we've been here for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Now, maybe that means something, maybe it doesn't, but that I don't know. My job is to not lose too much money. I'm not concerned about how much money I make. I'm concerned about how much money I don't lose. I didn't lose any money on the short side of course, I would hate to think I've been short Oracle, but my goodness, some of the people that got really creamed on that, for every winner, there's got to be a loser. So you can imagine what's happening to some of these folks that are going through some of these things right now. But that's what we're looking at right now. Is I believe this is the gold chart. That's Oracle. Let me get that out of the way. Well, just to show you what Oracle's done here, look at this, folks. It's $100 in one day. The guy made $100 billion, I heard, on CNBC. It's just unfathomable that it could be that much, but that's it. I want to get the gold chart here for just a second here. There's what I want to show you, because we've had a lot of action in gold here, and this is not unusual. Yesterday, we talked about here, just to give you an example. This is a short-term chart, but this is what we looked at. There was the 382 yesterday, but that was the first one. That was the second one. You see it came down, and then what did it do? It went up, and it went way above the 618. And look, it stayed above the 618, and now it's still in this area right here. See, once it goes back above this, tells you it's going to go higher, which it did. All this did was back off $55. If you look at this on a longer term chart, it's nothing. There's nothing to say that this is going to be the top. Maybe it is, but look, it went through this one like it didn't exist. So I'm just looking at the numbers. That's all I'm trying to do is when I see these things unfold right now. And I'm seeing differences between platinum and silver and stuff, but it may or may not mean anything. All I know is I'm seeing it everywhere in every single market. And people think that if we don't have some type of a bubble in some of these markets, they're not being very, alert, in my opinion. But let's take a quick look and take a break. We'll be right back.
Sharpening your skills as an investor is like getting better at playing a musical instrument. You have to practice, sure, but you also need excellent instruction from experts. At TFNN, you'll get advice and guidance from the authority in technical market analysis. And it's not just dry, tedious text either. TFNN airs live financial content streamed live on TFNN.com and TFNN's YouTube channel with Tiger TV, live every market day from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern. For free. Each host is an experienced trader and gives their take on the market while taking calls and questions live from around the world. From the moment the market opens until the closing bell sounds, Tiger TV has 8 different shows with expert hosts to help you make the right moves with your money. Watch online at TFNN.com or on TFNN's YouTube channel and become the investor you were born to be. TFNN. educating investors.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Okay, folks, we're going to go back about 25 years. This is the dot-com bubble. The Dow Jones stopped in January of that year. You can see here the Intel, which was the key stock I was watching, didn't top until April. So it went up another several months before, but we stopped. This is where we stopped here. This is dot-com, folks. That you think is crazy now? It was really crazy then. Anyway, the dot-com. Remember this? The internet started in 96, and they had, 40 million users, and then by 96, by the year 2000, they had 400 million. I don't know how many they got now, but it's got to be a lot. Anyway, you can see here, Intel went from 75 all the way down to 11. I happen to have the account of one of the owners of Intel, one of the founders, and it was the daughter of the founder. And she was a very nice lady, and she was able to get out of all of her stock and sold it all way up here. And it went a little bit higher, but she never complained. We got out around 63, I believe. It was an account from Eddie Horowitz had given me, and she didn't squirm or anything like that. She was really happy. Unfortunately, she had some diseases that didn't allow her to live very long. That's the bad part of that. Okay, now let's take a look here. I wanted to show you platinum because platinum has not made a new high, just like silver. You can see here we've gone up to these levels. Now silver's been up here for 5 days. Platinum is doing this. This may or may not mean something, folks, but this is what I do. I look at these patterns, and sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. That's basically it. And I watch the numbers. That's all I do. I do numbers. It really today when I did this video at 12:30, and it was 12:30 this morning here in California. And I heard the alarms go off. So I came into the office and I looked and I saw that, all the numbers had taken out the highs in the previous day's high in the NASDAQ and also in the S&P and also in the Dow Jones. Now, the Dow Jones didn't take out the high until earlier in the morning. It took out by 4 Dow points. I don't know what the actual index did, but that futures did. Of course, it dropped 450 points and it's backed up to the 382, all that kind of stuff. That's what I look for. All right. So when I do those things, I'm concerned about not how much money I'm going to make. It's how much money I can't lose. And folks, you might think this is an old cowboy, and I am an old cowboy, but I've been doing this a long time. I got more books out there than almost all you guys combined. I can promise you that. mainly because Drexel bought them all. Anyway, this is what the problem is, and I'll show you right now. This is from our good friend Jeff Hughes. There's where we are, folks. If you think we're not in an asset bubble, I want you to just look at this. There's the AI bubble right now, and you can see what happened to Oracle today. This is where we are with the AI bubble. This was the .com bubble, folks. We dropped 87% we lost of the NASDAQ during till 09. That's when the big bottom occurred, okay? Now, look what we done. There was the Nifty 50. My God, I was working for Eli Lilly at that time, okay? Here was the Russian grain robbery. This is when all this stuff. This is when I made my first million and also lost my first million. And then this was the top of the Japanese stock market at 40,000 on New Year's Eve, 1989. Where did it go? From 40,000 to 7,000. The comment when it was at 7,000 back in 92. 92, when it was back in 92, the comment was from somebody who was really famous at the time, his name slips me. He said the only use that we would have for Japanese stocks would be cannon fodder for fodder on a floor of a country and western bar is what he thought it was. And of course, from there, it did go back to 40,000 again. But this is where we are. This is what the problem is. I know it's not happening now, but it is going to happen. History does repeat itself, folks. We're looking at 60 years here, boys and girls. 60 years. I've lived them all. So, yeah, maybe it's going to go up. Maybe it's going to leave me, and I'll say thank you very much. But, boy, I've had a hell of a ride. And, boy, I tell you one thing. There's no way I'm going to sit there and watch my stuff drop, and that's one thing I won't do. I'm not going to stand. I tried these things. They didn't work. We got out on Monday. Remember, the thing broke really hard, dropped 120 handles in the S&P on Monday, and what did it do? Went up 160 handles. Can't stand in front of that kind of stuff. That's what I don't do. I'm not going to do that. I learned that from my old days of Drexel Burnham. You can lose money, you can make money. The one thing you don't lose all their money. And that's one thing I didn't do. But I watched these numbers. These numbers are not going to let you down. Just a second ago, we were talking about this with there's your Dow Jones, went right up to the 382 again, backed right off. Now I'm watching these numbers. That's what I do. And they've treated me well, and I plan on treating them well too, because they treated me well. That's basically it. All right. I think we just made that 382 again also in the Russell. We just went up and hit that 382 in a Russell just a minute ago. Okay, so stay tuned. We're going to have some really good trades coming up down the road and everything, but that's the main thing that I do. I watch these numbers, and when they line up nicely, that's what I do. I just do A, B, C, D, a tiny bit of astrology, but boy, I tell you, I have a great deal of respect with it. But man, I'll tell you, when I know someday, not going to be in my lifetime, there'll be a whole segment on CNBC, and we've got to talk about CNBC today, folks, because today's their 30th anniversary, and they were giving accolades to everybody except the person that deserved it the most, and that was Sue Herrera. Sue Herrera, Bill Griffith, and Ron Insano. Well, Sue Herrera and Bill Griffith. Ron Insano was a graduate student at SC at the time. They were running Financial News Network in Los Angeles, okay? That was run by Merrill Lynch. Merrill Lynch didn't want to support it anymore. So Sue Herrera said, I would like to present this to somebody else. And they said, not a problem. Do whatever you want to. It's yours. So she went to NBC in New York City and made them a proposal of starting that in the New York area on NBC channel, CNBC. And within 6-7 months, it all started with Sue Herrera and Bill Griffith. Ron Insana came on later. And then they had Mark Haynes, and then Bill, what's his name? I can't remember. David Faber. And I can't think of the other guy. Oh my gosh! Look, I was looking at his face. The guy from Cincinnati. Anyway, I'm looking at his picture this morning. I can't even remember. There's a old people's movement here, but that's how it all started. She's retired now. She married a really nice internal medicine specialist, and they raise some strange kind of expensive dogs, but very nice lady. And but she started the whole thing. It was her, and they didn't even mention her today, and that was a sadness for me, because she really did the work behind it to keep it all going, and that's what I remember from all these days of doing some of these things. Okay, now let's move on to take a look at a couple of things that people have asked about. And of course, Apple is getting creamed. I don't know what happened to, these are the only things that's keeping the market from being up 10,000 points, I guess, because they've had some pretty big runs here in some of these things. Let's get Apple here. It's right there. It's down about $6, I think someone said. Yeah, there it is. It's dropping. There's what Apple's doing. Let's take a look at Tesla. I mean, stop and think where what this guy's made today. $100 billion? Person can eat out a couple nights a week with that kind of money. All right, let's move over here and take a look at Tesla. And I do have to report on one thing. Just 1 second. Get Tesla here. Where it is? T. Here's Tesla. We'll take a look at this, and we'll be right back. Stay tuned, folks. We got more to talk about. Hey, Tesla's looking good. Hey, there you go. He's not going to...
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento. A pro's pro with over 50 years of experience, Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors. This portion of Trade What You See is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Okay, folks, down memory lane here. The other day I was talking about the Hong Kong index and the gentleman that bought some stock. I want to go through this because this is the pattern that I'm looking at. We have another ABCD completing here in the Hang Seng, and on the weekly basis, we have completed, and we've actually gone above the level now. I have to redo this because we've made a new high by 200 points. The high was supposed to be 26,000. We hit 26,200, so I need to draw these in. But I do want to mention this to you. Hold on, let me get rid of that and draw it in the way it should be drawn in, which is like this, and see what the ratio is. Hope it's at right 618 would be nice, but probably not. 1.27, that's pretty close. That's where we are right now. Now, the gentleman that I've been working with, I've known him for about 12 years, and he was very fortunate. I just want to show you the trade that he did, and I was trying to help him. That's all I'm going to try to show you what I did. It was Taiwan Semiconductor, okay? And this is what he was looking at, all right? Back in April, when we were down in this area right here, remember we were looking for those big bottoms that came in April. We had a beautiful ABCD pattern that came right down to this level right here. All right. Now I think he's about 45 now. There it is right there. He was buying it at about $140 a share is what he was buying it for. Okay. Now, right here is when he contacted me, and he said, I said, what? He asked me, what should he do? And I said, well, look, I'm looking at this, the top right, of course, this has went a lot higher than the Hong Kong market, but this is what he was in. He was in at he got out at 238, and now it's at 261, okay? Now, he asked me the question, I'll give you two examples of this. He said, I have been able to now get education for both of my kids to the schools they want to go to in Europe, and I'm very happy. How do I make sure that I don't lose anything? I said, well, you have to do one thing. You have to book the profits now. And I said, that's all you can do. You've done everything you can. Now, the reason why I'm telling you this, I went through the same story back in 1980 with John Hill down in his ranch there in Hendersonville, North Carolina. I was visiting him for the week, which I did often. I'd drive down from Indiana when I was visiting my sister, and I'd spend a week with John, and he was there. It was about the end of January, and gold had already topped and it had backed off quite a bit. And a farmer came in, and he told John that he had made a couple $100,000 in long Cougarans, and he said, I want to go on this trip to Tahiti or someplace, and this is what I want to do, and this is what I want to do. And he asked John, he said, how can I do all that? And John says, Ralph, he said, old buddy, he said, all you got to do is do one thing, and that's do one word. And he says, what's that? He said, sell. And Ralph looked at him and said, John, I don't know if I can do that. What if it goes up more? And then he says, well, you'll make more, but what if it goes down more? He says, well, then I won't be very happy. Well, there's your choice. You're either going to be happy and say sell, or hope that it goes up. Well, he didn't sell. And I don't know where it was, but John said he made a little bit of money on it, but he didn't make very much, and he never went to Tahiti. So these are things that you have to go through, and believe me, I've gone through them all. So it bothers me at times, but then when I think about it, I say, I'm doing the best I can. That's all I can do. Hey, I make money. Maybe I not make a lot. It might not be Ellison, but I do okay. I can eat out a couple times a month. Well, not every month, but sometimes. Anyway, that's what we're watching here on these things. So this is going to be interesting how the market opens here in Hong Kong tonight with all this enthusiasm and everything going crazy, because it could continue on for quite a bit. And we've already seen Tesla get this out of the way right here. And we get back here. We've already looked at Apple, and we had to take a look at when someone asked another question about my favorite bank, Wells Fargo. It's up and making new highs. No, it's not. It's not making new highs. In fact, none of the banks are. That's one thing. This is a possibility of a head and shoulders pattern here in that, but we'll have to do one thing at a time as we look at these unfold. Now, let's move over and talk about something that's near and dear to my heart that's killing me. Well, it's not killing me. I'm not involved in it yet, but I'm going to be. Hold on one second here. And that's my old favorite, cookies, pasta, bread, and macaroni. That is wheat. Nobody wanted it at $13 a bushel. Nobody even wants to buy it at $5 a bushel. Well, they're going to get the chance. what's the W here? Where are we? There we go. Right here. There's the wheat. There's where we are. And here we are coming in. Oh, boy, we're getting real close. And here we are coming into another eclipse on the 22nd. That's going to be the equinox. Here's where we are. All right. There's where we are. Blow this up. This is my trade of the century, folks. The trade of the century. I want to buy the wheat down here at 512. Now, we're not very far away. It's 515. The low here was 514. So we're almost sure we're going to hit 512 here pretty quickly. The $64 question is, are we going to go down and make it down into this area right here? Now, we got the live trading coming in tomorrow. On Friday, so I hopefully will be right down in that area. We're only a penny away from the low right now, so we're probably getting pretty close to that. I went through all these numbers, and these are pretty good numbers down here. The only other one that would be out there would be the 1.618 expansion of this one. In fact, we might make a little adjustment here. There's what we will make a little adjustment since we're looking at it right now. There's what we get for maybe looking a little better. So we don't have to draw that in right now. We can let them wait to see that it gets to this magic number. Instead of buying at 512, we're going to buy at scratch this, we're going to buy at 510. Save $100. There's our number right there, 510. There's the 1.618 number of that move right down right here. And let's just see if these numbers still work. There was your low right here. Your 1.27 came in exactly right here. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bing. This is where we're getting to, folks. Let's look at 510. We're going to buy it at 510, 1.618. And I will say this, you won't have to risk. Let's write this in 510, whatever I say. Don't do what I say, or do what I say, not as I do. Buy it at, to say 510, and you're going to put a stop. You're only going to risk $250, folks. You don't have to be a farmer for very long on this one. You're going to put a stop, $300. 504, you're going to risk $300, become a farmer for 100 acres of new December wheat, and that's what we're going to be looking at right there, okay? Now, I hate to bring this up to you, but if you look at this on the long-term weekly, this doesn't go back far. Let's look at it the monthly. Maybe I don't think it'll even go back that far. No, because the reason why this is December, it's not spot wheat. And let's just bring spot wheat up, and you'll see where it used to be at $13. This is when they thought the Ukrainians were going to own the world, or something like that. And we'll get this up here, put the weekly, so you'll see what I'm talking about, how supply and demand can change in a heartbeat. So here's the wheat going back a long time ago. And here's where we are now, boys and girls. Okay, next.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pros pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets. With up updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Okay, folks, let's move out of the way here and see what we've got going on with some of these other things that we've been talking about here today. Thanks for putting up with me giving you the old stories from the past, but those are ones that I remember the most. So I still remember whatever happened to Ralph. But John lived to be 96, and he still had a position on in soybeans when he passed away, as did Ruth Miller. They both had soybean positions on. She passed away at 96 also. I don't think I'm going to make 96, but I'm hoping for 86. That wouldn't be too bad, would it? Okay, let's move on here out of the way. You know, folks, there's not many people out there my age that are doing this kind of stuff. And I do it because I like it. This is what I really like to do. This is my hobby. You know, I mean, I've had the greatest job in the world because I haven't worked for anybody for 47 years since I left Drexel. I've always worked for myself. And that's not a bad thing to do. You know, I've been able to meet a lot of nice people, and some of these people have gone on to great things, much like Tom Hugard and some of these other guys that are, you know, they make hundreds of times more than I make. That doesn't mean they're any happier than I am, but that's just that's a function of money. I don't take the kind of risk that those guys take. You know, I realized back in the early 70s that I found something with ABCD that was going to, you know, make me a living. I could tell that. I mean, I didn't want to be a pharmacist. You know, I didn't want to sit there and count pills or work for Eli Lilly. I knew that I could play ABCD patterns, and then when I knew these charts were coming, well, it's going to be a pretty easy thing to do. Well, 62 years later, I'm still doing it and still loving it. So that's the main thing. When I got divorced the first time, my attorney was sitting there, the priest was there, and the accountant was there, and the attorney looked at the accountant, and he said, man, he said, you lost $1 million in 1974? And of course, my ex-wife was sitting there, and she said, how could you lose $1 million in 1974? You took the whole family to Hawaii for a month. And I said, well, I knew I could make it back. Well, it took me a while to make it back, but that's the way it goes. So anyway, I never took any bigger loss than that. That was my best loss, was my biggest loss. That was in October of 1974. I got wiped out. I had I owed Conti $2,800. I'd spent a lot of money on the way up, folks. I mean, I wasn't broke. But anyway, I didn't trade for a year and a half until I really understood cycles a little bit better. And then I had Fibonacci under my belt. And then I caught that bean oil move. And yeah, here's where I am today. So who knows? Okay, one thing I can promise you, folks, you ain't going to lose all your money with me. You may not get rich. You will make some money. But I can't guarantee that you're going to be rich. That rich is a state of mind anyway, folks. And most people that happy doing what they're doing, you know, they really got it made, and that's the main thing. Remember, happiness is doing something that you love to do, because then you have to not work for anybody else. Your definition of hell is someone that you'd have to work with from 8 o'clock till 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday, and they don't like you and you don't like them, and you got to put up with that 40 hours a week. That's my definition of hell. So that I ain't going through that anymore. I never had to, so that was it. I've always had good bosses all through the thing. Let's take a look here at the gold here. This is the 4-hour chart. Now, someone made the comment that we had this. I'm just bringing it over so you can see it, because this is a big swings that we're having here now, folks. This is going back to way back in April. See, so we could be up here near the promised land. It's not there yet, because look where we are. We're only $30 away from the high. This should have stopped it, but it didn't. See how it went through it? Boom. That means you're wrong. Now, here's what the person asked me. Happens to be one of my really good students. Well, they're all good. Some are better than others. But he was looking at this move right here, and he asked me to discuss it on the show today. So there's the low right here. I'm drawing it up to this level right here. And there's the swing that I was talking about before, right up there at that 45 level, okay? Now, I said, what if that the swing went to 1.27 of that move? So I'm just going to come up, change it for just a second. So you come over and we'll change this from 1 to 1.27, making the CD swing 1.27. And there it comes right here. Look how close we are. The high here was 15. We got to 27. 23 is the number of that 1.27. Could that be the high in the gold? That I don't know. Here's where we are from April. If you did the same thing, this is what I do for fun. There's your ABCD pattern right here, and that measures to 36.68. And look where we are right now, 36.85. You have another one coming in right here. That's why I think we're knocking on heaven's door up here, but heaven's not answering the door yet. There it is right now. This one we have to change because the strength of that CD leg, and we're just going to do this, make the 127 on this one. And 127 will take us to probably 37 something, 37.30. Now we got two targets up here, 37.23, 37.30. All right, so here's where we are, 36.85. So let's pay attention to that. That might mean it's a good trading opportunity up in this level. All I know is, one, it's a trading opportunity. Whether it'll be a winning one or not, I don't know, but boy, this has been one heck of a run. Folks, don't forget, folks, we took $220 out of that first part of the move in late August, if you remember, buying that low right here, because that was a beautiful 61% retracement right here, and it just took off like a rocket and never gave us any heat. Unfortunately, I got out of it a little too soon right in here, but that's the name of the game. I can't get all the highs, can't get all the lows, just trying to make friends on the way up and not lose any on the way down. That's my bottom line. Hey, we look at this. We got our soybean oil is screaming up now. We just had a little bit of a pullback here this morning. There was the move that we bought it right here. There was the moon was at 11. That's where we bought it at, 11. Pulled up. Let's see if it made a 382 on this one right here. It didn't, but came close. No, it didn't even come close. So now it's starting to move a little bit higher. You have to stop at break even now on this. That's the main thing that you want to do. And the same thing on the euro. You can see here the euro is still moving lower, and we still think we're going to get a lot lower here. So hang on to the euro, because when we look at this on the daily, that's how we put this chart on. There was your first objective right here, that was $1,100 profit. Now you can see here we're making about 850 right now. If we'd got out here, which you have to be a magician, you'd have made around $1,200. So right now you're still ahead almost $900. If you get stopped out here, you're only going to make $400. Okay, but that's the name of the game. I don't know what's going to happen, but there's the move right here, and we get to here, you made $2,000, and then you're happy. So that's what we have to do, one at a time. So I hope that helps. Okay, what else we got here? We were supposed to have Bill Cerubi on today, but Bill's traveling. He's not able to be on. Tomorrow is Thursday. Whom I have? I have somebody on Thursday. I think I have Stan Harley up for tomorrow. Yep. And then on Friday, I have the live trading. If you want to join us, it's from 9 to 12. And boy, we should have some really good opportunities given all the swings that we're having in some of these things. So it should be a lot of fun as we look at this. So those are the things that I'm looking at here in the future. Take a quick look here. at the S&P, how we're doing here this morning, just looking at it on a real small time frame. There you can see we're starting to drift a tiny bit lower from the early morning highs. You can see just drifting lower, not much. You can see ABCDs all the way down here. So let's take a break here. When we get back, we'll cover a couple little things on stocks that people have asked me about here in the last few minutes. And then we'll call it a day.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pros pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Yeah, I've been asked to talk a little bit about the foreign currencies. I trade 3 majors. I trade the euro versus US dollar, the pound versus US dollar, and the yen versus the US dollar. I look for ABCD patterns. As you can see here in the British pound, we did not have an ABCD pattern. We did in the euro. It went to a perfect ABCD pattern. Just get it, where is it? Back here somewhere. And we'll be able to see it hopefully in a heartbeat. Yeah, just get it up here. See, there's the ABCD was right there, okay? There's where it was just yesterday. Perfect ABCD right up to the number. And now it's had a pretty good profit, still moving down. That's it. Now, the pound did not do that. So the next one we want to look at is the Japanese yen. So we'll come up here, take a quick look at the yen. It's a very, very active. This is like trading the NASDAQ. Well, no, nothing's like trading the NASDAQ. That's wild. Anyway, as you can see here, we are trying to make a little bit of a bottom in here. This is the weekly. Let's get to something we can understand, which is the 4-hour. Here's where we are. We just made a nice ABCD pattern here yesterday. Now, I could have bought the yen or sold the euro. I picked the euro. The reason why is I like the euro better than the yen. Not anything against any country or anything like that. That's basically it. And you can see there's your ABCD pattern here. It misses it by just a heartbeat, whereas the euro hit it spot on. That was my other reasoning not to do it. And you can see here, the rally here is only taking it up to the 382. So that would have been your first profit objective, would have been right into this area right here. So this is where we are right now. But those are the three cross rates that I trade: the pound, the yen, and the euro. Those are the ones. There's others out there, but I have to narrow it down a little bit because there's so much old cowboy can look at. So that's what we're watching today, folks. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and I'll be with you for as long as God's willing. And so far, she's been pretty good to me. So live every day in an attitude of gratitude, and may God bless.
Steve Rhodes